welcome back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio this Sunday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. If you've got a real estate question, you can always call us at 281-882-8088. That number again is 281-882-8088. If you're a fan of Twitter, you can always tweet us your questions using hashtag HRER. We'll answer them right here in the studio every Sunday. And you can also find all of our segments, because we record them. You can find them online at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. This segment, I want you to really think about energy efficiency in your home. There's so many ways to save money right now when you're building, and ways to retrofit your home as well. And there's so many things to think about as far as the cost effectiveness of what you're going to do to the home, whether you're building it or retrofitting it. And then there's the there's the environmentally friendly aspect of it. There's so many different things to talk about when you say you're going green. So I brought in Clayton Morris. He's from DPIS Engineering. And I've also got Ginger Robbins here in the studio with me. Ginger, you've heard on the radio before. She does our Green Minute every Sunday. So she's with Register Real Estate Advisors. She's a realtor, and she does the Green Minute. So she brings you helpful tips every week on how you can make your home more energy efficient, or just be conscious of some ways to save money and make your home a little bit more energy efficient. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, Clayton, let's start with you. Tell me about, I know you're a rater and trainer for Energy Star homes and products. Tell me a little bit more about what you do and how that can benefit consumers.
Well, what my company focuses in is preventative maintenance. And one of the things that we do a design of structural foundation and framing all the way through, but then we recognize that every home can be sound and can stand up, but we need a home that you can afford to operate and that has as little environmental impact as possible.
Right.
So we have began certifying since 2002 Energy Star homes that use less energy, and in recent years we've been doing Green Built certified homes. Locally, we have a program called Green Built Gulf Coast, and we go through a full comprehensive approach of the home from the lot phase, from the dirt work, all the way through of the components that are in, how they're installed, and then the air quality, and finish it up with homeowner education from the builder. Because we recognize that every home can be built well, but if we don't give the homeowners the tools that they need and the information they need to maintain it won't perform as planned.
Is this Green Built Gulf Coast homes, are the homes actually rated energy efficient, or is it the builder who has the rating?
See, that's actually a great question. One of the things about this particular program is each and every single home is rated, inspected, and evaluated for green compliance. Technically, a home doesn't have to have a quote-unquote rater and receive a HERS index, but every home that I know of in the program does. But it does have to be evaluated for energy-efficient components and green components. And one of the things that I've seen with certain builders is they've made up their own quote-unquote green program.
Right. Everybody says they're green. They build green.
Absolutely. You know, they paint the houses green. They do something that's green, you know.
Right.
And one of the things that I found the most interesting, because I'm just some redneck that grew up in the country with a home, the first part of it was built in 1906. It leaked horribly, and but the draft was great, you know. I used to think that green meant that you had some kind of a green roof, and, you know, you had to have dirt piled up 4 foot with tomatoes all around your house or something to that effect. And I began realizing that it's paint. It's good paint that doesn't off-gas as bad. It's carpet that doesn't off-gas, and they're certified Green Label Plus. It's finding a way to use the same trees and get more lumber square footage or more linear footage via finger jointed studs and stuff. And, you know, it's literally a whole bunch of small components and forethought. And it's when you find a great builder doing it, you're able to do this at a very cost effective way. You know, I don't think green should cost you an arm and a leg.
Right. It doesn't make sense to do it if it does.
So how does the consumer know or find the builder or what am I trying to say? How does the consumer check for certification? How does the consumer know that they're dealing with
Because that's important.
a reputable person on the other end?
One of the things, for example, the local program for Houston Greenbelt Gulf Coast, is we recognize that. My company has been involved since the inception of this, and we recognize that we need to have a verification strategy because, you can trust but verify, and the proof's in the pudding. So we have a register of every single home that has been Greenbelt Gulf Coast certified. You can go to the ghba.org website and find out if they really did certify your home, if they really did do everything. And this certification was developed because it's really difficult when you're looking at a home to know if the person marketing the home to you, they've got a vested interest in you buying it.
Right.
But are they telling you everything? And this program was developed with some teeth to it. And honestly, not every builder is doing it for a reason.
Right. Yeah. I mean, somebody, you can have some Energy Star appliances in the home and call it a Greenbelt home. It doesn't mean it had some of the features that you mentioned. And give us some of those features that are really a Greenbelt professional. What kind of features are they going to add to the home that you wouldn't see any other builders using?
Well, I hate to say any other builders because there are a lot of quality builders in Houston. I will absolutely tell people that.
But I think the difference is with Greenbelt, you've got them using lots of products and lots of things together to make a great Greenbelt home, where another builder may be using different pieces and different parts, but not all together on a home.
To me, I would say, water efficiency is great and I'm all for it. But, to me, the areas that I find to be very interesting and very applicable are your material components where you get credit for that. I mean, literally is down to using fly ash in your concrete as, with the proper amounts, it works great. Your carpet, your paints, the engineered lumber products using I-joists or truss joists or other things besides the nominal wood, you can stretch your forest products much further doing that. And the other thing is those products that really, they tie into Chapter 9 of our program, which is indoor air quality, indoor environmental quality. We're looking for a better place to breathe because, we've all heard the reports that there's 50 times more, multiple times more pollutants inside a home. And to some extent, it's true. But if you use products that help reduce those pollutants, or you use HVAC filtration systems, then you can produce a healthier home for the homeowner.
Let's talk about something else you do, your forensic services. Tell us about that, because I've heard of people getting sick from the house or the building or the school, or how can consumers use your forensic services? What do you do?
Well, normally what we do is the first thing we try to do is just listen. When somebody calls us, they've got a problem. They want help, and every home is different. There's no silver bullet to call someone and say, well, if you just do this in your attic, or if you just put this window in, you'll be better. The whole home operates as a system, and in Houston, there's a pretty big culprit. Almost every time, moisture is involved in some way, and what we do is we show up and we test to find out how tight the home is and how tight the HVAC air conditioning system is.
I think that the movie Aaron Brockovich really brought this point home of really making sure that your water quality and the air in your home, that the environment in your home is healthy. And what you do in coming out and checking for these things is a great service, because so many people don't know about it. They don't know where to find that kind of service. So tell me this, at what point when someone's sick do you decide it may be our house causing it? How would you know?
It's kind of like when you go to a doctor and say, I'm just not feeling well. We live in our homes. I took a class here recently with the State Plumbing Board, and I guarantee you there are times where people are sick, and it's because their potable water supply and they've got siphonage coming back in. That does happen. We've seen everything you can think of that actually happens in a home. And my suggestion is this: if you move into a home and you felt good before you moved in there, and in a few weeks you're not feeling well, check it out. We had a very recent example of a lady who moved into a beautiful lease home, and she had carbon carbon monoxide gases coming out of her oven. The oven looked brand new. It wasn't. But it was just bad from the manufacturer. And it was at literal dangerous levels for her and her child.
Wow.
And we showed up, shut off the oven, and said, you need to air out the home and do not use this until it's changed out. But there's no way she could have known that without testing devices.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you must have a lot of really great equipment to go into the home and test all these things.
Yes, we do. We we don't just stop at home and ducts. We go into a lot of cool gadgets.
Do you see very many problems? I mean, what kind of percentage of people are we talking about that have these kind of problems? I mean, are these calls you get every day, once a month?
It's kind of weird. It seems to me like it goes in waves sometimes. At times, it seems like when you have a new product hit the market that wasn't necessarily tested in a hot, humid climate. Because building strategies, to me, there are so many great products, but if they're not put together in the right way,
right,
you run into dangers. It isn't often that we get that crazy case. Like some of them I've seen. I literally had one that I got sick within an hour. It was horrible.
Wow.
But that's no exaggeration. It was really bad. I wasn't feeling great before I got there. I felt horrible when I left. But it was a lady that's 13-year-old daughter had cancer. And so her immune system was already broken down. And so they finally realized my home's doing this. And it was honestly because of changes they had made. So what percentage of people have these issues? I don't know. The severity, I would honestly think the severity is probably lower. But my biggest thing is if you're not comfortable in your home, if you're having issues, it's worth the checkup.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Well, Clayton, we appreciate the information. Great to know. Great resource that you're providing to consumers. We appreciate that. All right. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors here on Houston Real Estate Radio.